Well, hey, and welcome to this Theology Matters Thursday. The question for today is Jesus against organized religion? This question came in recently from someone who heard someone say what is often said, that they were pro-Jesus but against organized religion. This is something I've heard many times, people that say, I'm very spiritual, or even I'm pro-Jesus, but I'm against this whole organized church religion thing. And the idea is that they like Jesus, but churches are just these man-made institutions, and that by and large, most of them are corrupt and just about getting money, and that you should scrap all that, just pursue Jesus and forget this whole organized religion thing. Well, what does the Bible really have to say about this? And well, there's a couple things. One, certainly there is corruption in organized religion. There's a lot of flawed people because sinful people organize churches, and so there's going to be sin and corruption. And certainly it's true that the ultimate focus of every organized religion should be Jesus. Everything should be for and about and to Jesus. So if there is a church that is pointing you away from Jesus, you should certainly not be a part of it. But the reality is, if you want to be a follower of Jesus, you can't be against organized religion, because Jesus organized religion. Jesus is the one who established the church, organized religion, and he promised to build it and protect it. From the very beginning, Jesus called disciples. He gave them structure. They gave them tasks to do. He was very organized. And in Matthew 18, Jesus talks about this. He talks about how he will build my church, Jesus said, and all the powers of hell will not conquer it. Jesus was very passionate that I am building my church and nothing is going to destroy it. Now, right after that, in fact, in Matthew 18, you see this already in effect when Jesus is talking about how to deal with sin among Christians. He says, if someone sins, go to them first individually. If they don't respond, take somebody else. But ultimately, if they don't respond, if they refuse, in verse 17, tell it to the church. And then if they still don't respond, kick them out of the church. And so Jesus obviously was understanding the importance of organized religion even in his ministry. And then it wasn't just Jesus. After Jesus, the apostles continued to organize the church, to organize their religion. In Acts chapter 6, there was a very practical problem as the church was growing. They weren't taking care of the widows as they should be, and so they organized deacons, and they turned over responsibility to them, and they did important tasks. You can look up these verses. In Acts chapter 14, verse 23, we see that as Paul and Barnabas were going around starting churches, what did they do? They appointed elders in each church. Elders are church leaders, and so when there is leadership, there is obviously organization and structure. In Acts chapter 15, there was conflict amongst these churches, so what did they do? They appointed elders to go together, and they met and had this big council where leaders got together in a very organized fashion to discuss the dispute. In 1 Timothy chapter 3, the Apostle Paul is talking again about church leadership, and he says, if someone wants to be an overseer or an elder, a church leader, this is a noble task. He doesn't say, hey, don't bother being a part of this whole church thing. That's dumb. He says, no, it's a noble thing. And ultimately in Hebrews 13, the Bible tells us we need to obey our spiritual leaders and submit to their authority. So clearly there is structure, there is leadership. Jesus and the apostles organized religion. Now, absolutely there is some negative aspects to organized religion. It can certainly get derailed and get bad. Organized religion is bad when it teaches something contrary to the Bible. It's bad when it tries to set itself up as a conduit between you and God, standing between you and God. And it's bad if it neglects the biblically mandated purposes of the church. That is bad, and you shouldn't be a part of any organized religion like that. But organized religion is good when it is teaching the truth of the Bible, when it is pointing you to Jesus, helping you go closer to Jesus, and when a church is actively pursuing the biblical purposes for the church. That's when organized religion is good, and we should be a part of it and support it because it is God's work in this world.